Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome to the regular council meeting for November 15th, 2021 for the City of Dauphin. We acknowledge that the land on which we gather this evening is Treaty 2 land, traditional territory of the Anishinaabe, Cree, Oji-Cree, Assiniboine, Dakota, and Dene peoples, and homeland of the Métis Nation. And we affirm our commitment to moving forward in partnership with Indigenous communities in a spirit of collaboration and reconciliation. Moved by Councillor Eilers, seconded by Councillor Bellemare. Be it resolved that Council accepts the regular council meeting agenda as presented. Any questions or comments before we move forward? Seeing none, I'll call the questions. All in favor? Motion carried. Moved by Councillor Eilers, seconded by Deputy Mayor Juba. Be it resolved that Council waives the reading and accepts and approves as circulated the minutes of the following meeting from the regular council meeting on November the 1st. Any questions or comments regarding those minutes there? Seeing none, I'll call the questions. All in favor? And motion carried. Moved by Councillor Bellemare, seconded by Deputy Mayor Juba. Whereas the Municipal Act Section 162 states each member of the council must attend the public hearing unless the member A is excused by other members from attending the hearing, is unable to attend owing to illness, or is required under the Municipal Council Conflict of Interest Act to withdraw from the hearing. And be it resolved that council excuses the following council member from the November 15th, 2021 public hearing as scheduled, and that be Councillor Shtakailo. Any questions or comments there? Seeing none, I'll call the questions. All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carried. Moved by Councillor Bellemare, seconded by Councillor Eilers. Be it resolved that council now adjourns to hear the public hearing as scheduled. And no questions or comments there, I'm assuming. We'll call the questions. All in favor? Motion carried. Council will now commence to hear representations from the applicants and any other persons who wish to make a presentation for the scheduled public hearings under the Planning Act. Anyone who has not yet registered but wishes to make a presentation for the public hearings, please state your name so we can add you to our registration list. Dean, I see you're here. I don't see anyone else here, not even online either. So item 4A, number 1, the rezoning application for part of 100 Cruz Crescent. Nobody has registered there. 4A, number 2, conditional use application for 20 Ash Street, registered for virtual attendance, but I do not see her. Carrie Wheeler, owner and applicant. 4A, number 3, the variance application for 20 Ash Street, registered for the virtual attendance. Again, Carrie is not here, but registered. And 4A, number 4, conditional use application for 212 Hawthorne Avenue, and registered, as I mentioned, in person, Dean Zimmer, the owner and applicant. Let's move to 4A, number 1, whereas the public hearing of October 18th, 2021 for rezoning application 12.08.37425/RZ-21-01/02 was recessed pending a receipt of additional information from the province. We now reconvene the public hearing for rezoning application 12.08.37425/RZ-21-01/02 for owners of St. George's Ukrainian Orthodox Seniors Resident Incorporated, care of Gerald Detishin, and applicant MKH Ventures Incorporated, care of Murray Hawkes, for part lot 2, SP Plan 2972 DLTO, that's part of 100 Cruz Crescent, from residential multiple family to commercial mixed to allow for future subdivision and expansion of the existing commercial site located at 1212 Main Street South to comply with the City of Dauphin zoning bylaw. Applicant is not here, so I'm guessing we've all heard this before. Does council have any questions regarding this item? Any person present who wishes to speak in support? of the application? Anyone present who wishes to speak in objection? Does council have any questions of the presenter? Again, we've heard this one a few times, so I don't think there's many questions. Is there anyone else who wishes to make a presentation on this application? All right, the representations for public hearing are now completed. Let's move to 4A number 2. And we will now proceed with the public hearing for conditional use application 12.04.17750/CU-21-01/04 for owner and applicant Kerry Wheeler for lot 14, plan 390 DLTO, that's 20 Ash Street, to allow for construction of a 1,560 square foot single-story two-family dwelling in a residential single-family zone to comply with the City of Dauphin zoning bylaw. Kerry not here, so she won't be able to speak in favor of the application. Does council have any questions regarding this item? No. Any person present in support of this application who wishes to speak? Is there any person present who wishes to speak in objection to this application? Does council have any other questions of the presenter? Is there anyone else who wishes to make a presentation on this application? All right, the representations for the public hearing are now completed. And thank you, I guess, well, we'll see. Maybe Kerry will join. We'll see. We'll go to number 3. We will now proceed with the public hearing for variance application 12.04.17750/VO-21-01/05 for owner and applicant Kerry Wheeler for lot 14, plan 390 DLTO 20 Ash Street to vary the minimum site area and width to allow for construction of that 1,560 square foot single-story two-family dwelling in a residential single-family zone to comply with the City of Dauphin zoning bylaw. Again, I'll ask if council has any questions. I don't see Kerry here. No questions on this item. Anyone here that's present want to speak in favor of the application or objection? All right, the representations for the public hearing are now completed. We'll move to the final one, 4A number 4. We will now proceed with the public hearing for conditional use application 12.07.34890/CU-21-01/05 for owner and applicant Dean Zimmer for lot 3, plan 51506 DLTO. It's 212 Hawthorne Avenue to allow for construction of a single-story two-family dwelling in a residential single-family zone to comply with the City of Dauphin zoning bylaw. Would the owner, or would the applicant, excuse me, like to speak in favor of the application? Yeah, it's up to you. You don't have to, but if you want to. Yeah.
Can I sit?
Fire away.
Want me to explain the project or?
Yeah, if you want, just brief summary, that type of thing, and if council has any questions.
One building exists,
Yeah.
the identical building exists. It's a two-family on a single-family lot, separated with a fire wall to be subdivided through the province and made into 2 single-family homes to service empty nesters, retirees, no stairs, everything on main floor. And like I say, it already exists on the
Yeah.
neighboring lot.
Yeah. Does council have any questions, the applicant?
I just asked one before, and the original units have been sold in the first build, so looking good for the future.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Thanks, Dean. Is there any other person present in support of this application who wishes to speak? Is there any person present who wishes to speak in objection to this application? The representations for the public hearing are now concluded. Thank you, Dean, for joining us in this public hearing.
Okay, thanks.
It's that easy.
Have a good evening.
Yeah, you too. Okay. Moved by Councillor Eilers, seconded by Deputy Mayor Juba. Be it resolved that council now reconvenes to the regular council meeting. Any questions or comments there? Seeing none, I'll call the questions. All in favor? Motion carried. Moved by Councillor Eilers, seconded by Councillor Bellemare. Be it resolved that the public hearing for a rezoning application 12.08.37425/RZ-21-01/02 for owner St. George's Ukrainian Orthodox Seniors Residence Incorporated, care of Gerald Dutishin, and applicant MKH Ventures Incorporated, care of Murray Hawkes, for the rezoning of Part Lot 2, SP Plan 2972 DLTO from residential multiple family to commercial mixed to allow for future subdivision and expansion of the existing commercial site located at 1212 Main Street South to comply with the City of Dauphin zoning bylaw be now concluded. Any more questions or comments regarding this one? Seeing none, I'll call the questions. All in favor? And motion carried. Moved by Councillor Eilers, seconded by Deputy Mayor Juba. Be it resolved that the public hearing for conditional use application 12.04.17750/CU-21-01/04 for owner and applicant Kerry Wheeler for Lot 14, Plan 390 DLTO to allow for construction of a 1,560 square foot single-story two-family dwelling in a residential single-family zone to comply with the City of Dauphin zoning bylaw be now concluded. Questions or comments there? Call the questions. All in favor? Motion carried. Moved by Councillor Bellemare, seconded by Councillor Eilers. Be it resolved that the public hearing for variance application 12.04.17750/VO-21-01/05 for owner and applicant Kerry Wheeler for Lot 14, Plan 390 DLTO to vary the minimum site area and width to allow for construction of a 1,560 square foot single-story two-family dwelling in a residential single-family zone to comply with the City of Dauphin zoning bylaw be now concluded. Any questions or comments on this one? Call the questions. All in favor? And motion carried. Moved by Councillor Eilers, seconded by Deputy Mayor Juba. Be it resolved that the public hearing for conditional use application 12.08.3489900/CU-21-01/05 for owner and applicant Dean Zimmer for Lot 3, Plan 51506 DLTO to allow for construction of a single-story two-family dwelling in a residential single-family zone to comply with the City of Dauphin zoning bylaw be now concluded. Questions or comments there? No questions. All in favor? Motion carried. Moved by Councillor Eilers, seconded by Councillor Bellemare. Whereas due notice was given with respect to rezoning application 12.08.37425/RZ-21-01/02, and whereas no objections were received to said application, be it resolved that rezoning application 12.05.234200/RZ-21-01/02 for owner St. George's Ukrainian Orthodox Seniors Residence Incorporated, care of Gerald Dutishin, and applicant MKH Ventures Incorporated, care of Murray Hawkes for Part Lot 2, SP Plan 2972 DLTO from RMF to CM to allow for future subdivision and expansion of the existing commercial site at 1212 Main Street South to comply with the City of Dauphin zoning bylaw be approved with the following condition. And number one, just the one, the applicant will be required to proceed with an application for subdivision to be processed by the provincial planning branch. The future sale of the property is subject to a subdivision which must be approved under the Planning Act before it can be accepted for registration at the Land Titles Office. Any questions or comments? I'll call the questions. All in favor? Motion carried.
Just one question.
Yeah,
Does that
sorry.
have to come back through us again after it goes to the
One more
province, or are
time.
we done with this now?
Yeah, we're going to see it one more time through the subdivision process. Yeah.
Thank you, Councillor Bellemare, for the break. Moved by Councillor Eilers, seconded by Deputy Mayor Juba. Whereas due notice was given with respect to conditional use application 12.04.17750/CU-21-01/04. And whereas no objections were received to said application, so be it resolved that conditional use application 12.04.17750/CU-21-01/04 for owner and applicant Carrie Wheeler for Lot 14, Plan 390 DLTO to allow for the construction of a 1,560 square foot single-story two-family dwelling in a RSF zone to comply with the City of Dauphin zoning bylaw be approved with the following conditions. Number one, the applicant obtains approval for reduced site requirements to comply with the City of Dauphin zoning bylaw 04/2015. Number two, the applicant provides a minimum of 3 off-street parking stalls will be required to be developed on site. Number three, the applicant obtains a building permit from the City of Dauphin for the construction of the proposed two-family dwelling, and all construction shall conform to the Manitoba Building Code. Number four, primary access using a lane is permitted. However, no additional lane maintenance or snow clearing will be provided other than what is outlined as part of the normal operational policies of the City of Dauphin. Number five, the new two-family dwelling unit will require a new utility service branch connection from the street lines to the building. The owner will be responsible for the cost of this service connection. And lastly, number six, lot surface drainage cannot adversely affect the adjacent property. It is recommended that it be done in consultation and cooperation with adjacent property owners. Any questions or comments? Call those. All in favor? Motion carried. Moved by Councillor Bellemare, seconded by Councillor Eilers. Whereas due notice was given with respect to variance application 12.04.17750/VO-21-01/05. And whereas no objections were received to said application, so be it resolved that variance 12.04.17750/VO-21-01/05 for owner and applicant Carrie Wheeler for Lot 14, Plan 390 DLTO to vary the dwelling minimum site from 600 square meters to 557.42 square meters, and the dwelling minimum site width from 19.8 meters to 15.24 meters to allow for construction of a 1,560 square foot single-story two-family dwelling in a residential single-family zone to comply with the City of Dauphin zoning bylaw be approved. Any questions or comments? And I'll call the questions. All in favor? Motion carried. Moved by Councillor Eilers, seconded by Deputy Mayor Juba. Whereas due notice was given with respect to conditional use application 12.08.348900/CU-21-01/05, and whereas no objections were received to said application, and be it resolved that conditional use application 12.08.348900/CU-21-01/05 for owner and applicant Dean Zimmer for Lot 3, Plan 51506 DLTO to allow for the construction of a single-story two-family dwelling in a residential single-family zone to comply with the City of Dauphin zoning bylaw be approved with the following conditions. Number one, the applicant obtains a minor variance approval prior to allowing construction for the reduced front yard requirements to comply with the City of Dauphin zoning bylaw. That be 04/2015. Number two, the cost of the new service connection and extension will be the responsibility of the property owner. And number three, a subdivision of the lot will be required to be obtained by the owner to allow separate title of each new lot and dwelling unit. questions or comments? Call those. All in favor? Motion carried. Moving on. Moved by Councillor Bellemare, seconded by Councillor Eilers. Be it resolved that all items under item 5 consent agenda be approved as follows and form part of these minutes. Number 5A, action items, number 1, and that would be the proclamation International Day of Persons with Disabilities. Whereas the International Day of Persons with Disabilities has been commemorated since 1992 to promote action and raise awareness relating to the inclusion of persons with disabilities. And whereas the theme for 2021, Not All Disabilities Are Visible, promotes the understanding that many disabilities are not immediately apparent and reminds us of the importance of removing barriers for all people living with a disability, both visible and invisible. And whereas the City of Dauphin is committed to following best practices in ensuring our community is accessible, user-friendly, and inclusive of all people's needs in order to empower and create opportunities for all people living with a disability to enjoy and fully participate in society. Now, therefore, we, the Council of the City of Dauphin, do hereby proclaim December 3rd, 2021 as International Day of Persons with Disabilities. And that as recommended by Mayor and the City Manager. We'll move to B in the filing items. Number 1, the Association of Manitoba Municipalities Bulletin for November 5th, 2021. News release, AMM tours Manitoba's Parkland region, and member advisories, COVID-19 vaccination policy template, the MI seeking municipal feedback on gravel road and noxious weed control agreements. Number 2, FCM, the Federation of Canadian Municipalities, FCM Connects for November 2, 9, and the 12th. Number 3, Manitoba news releases. Stephenson sworn in as the 24th Premier of Manitoba. The province response to chronic wasting disease presence. Number 4, Canadian National Railway, CN, and Progress Rail advance sustainability efforts with Renewable Fuels Partnership. Advances sustainability efforts with Wabtec's battery electric locomotive and the new CN public inquiry line. Number 5, Prairie Mountain Health, the Health Plus newsletter for November. Number 6, Grandview Volunteer Fire Department's calendar story. And number 7, Mountain View School Division's news digest for November 8th, 2021. And that all recommended by the Mayor and the City Manager. Any questions or comments regarding those items? Go ahead, Councillor Eilers will go first.
Yes, I just wanted to say that in their public inquiry line, they have noise, train whistling, which has been a problem in the past, but also the general property maintenance. And that again has been a very difficult to deal with because of the weed infestation that they have and the height of them as well. And I think that we should have this on our speed dial.
Go ahead, Councillor Bellemare.
Okay, and further on CN, I was just really appreciated the information about them using renewable fuels and battery electric locomotives. So, you know, just as we're finishing up with that environmental conference in Glasgow, it's good to see what specific companies are doing, private businesses doing to try and make a difference environmentally. And also, I just want to draw attention to the volunteer fire department. That's quite the picture in our attachment. I think that calendar might be worth a purchase. So if people see one of those, you may want to consider buying one for someone on your Christmas list.
Yeah, working at the Herald, I got to see all those photos. I don't know if that's a privilege or a disadvantage, but yeah, no, really cool for sure. I do also, Deputy Mayor Juba, I don't know if you have any questions or comments. You can just shake your head if you don't. I think you're frozen, actually. So I will go on and just mention that we talked about AMM in there, and I know that everyone, all the councillors that are here, are attending either in person or virtually this upcoming weekend and early next week to the fall convention. So a lot of excitement there. It's been a while since we've been able to go to a convention. So with that being said, I'll call the questions. All in favor? Motion carried. Moved by Deputy Mayor Juba, seconded by Councillor Bellemare. Be it resolved that council accepts as information the following corporate report for the November 15th, 2021 regular council meeting, that of the city manager.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. So we, it's been a couple weeks since our last meeting, and some updates of what we've been working on. So with COVID-19, there were some updates that were provided on Friday, and that pertained mostly to recreation and religious gatherings. So it is not affecting any city operations at this time. So all of our properties will be operating status quo. With respect to the Dauphin Airport, we have a quarterly airport board meeting coming up on Thursday. So I've been working at updating, providing updates for the board members for things like land lease and Transport Canada regulation requirements and some financial requirements. Swan Valley Business Consortium, that was something interesting. So on November 3rd, I met with representatives, Derek Armstrong and Richard Ives. They're participants of the Swan Valley Business Consortium and also subsequently employees of Swan Valley Co-op and Dauphin Co-op, respectively. The consortium was brought to my attention by RCMP Staff Sergeant Ray Campbell. And he said that's an example of a group or network of individuals working together to make their community better. So at the meeting on November 3rd, I learned a little bit about the consortium, how it started, the groups of people involved, and some of their projects. This consortium is a grassroots organization based in the Swan River area, composed initially of citizens and business owners that are concerned with issues like crime and homelessness. And they're also doing some work to build upon or to create a network to share resources like training opportunities. And specifically in Swan River, they said it's not easy for them to get to other communities or to get into Winnipeg for training. It's not just a one-day in and out travel. And so when one company or one business is bringing in some sort of training that they offer to other businesses so that they can get the same training. Mr. Armstrong stressed that the group was started by individuals and businesses and then expanded into government agencies and the municipalities up there. And that was only once it was obvious that those resources were needed and that there was a clear purpose to include government agencies. So further to the Protective Services Committee meeting that we had with the town of Swan River in the last, I guess maybe 3 weeks ago now, we agree that there's many similarities between Swan River and Dauphin, and I'm now on the consortium's email list, so I can virtually attend any of their meetings and see what information that they're circulating through to their membership. In the conversation, I kind of I looked at Mr. Ives, Mr. Richard Ives, and I said, who's the champion in this community to start something like that? So it's something that I'm learning about, and it's great to see what other communities are doing to help with their own communities. And the last item I wanted to talk about is human resources. So a significant amount of my time in these last couple of weeks have been spent on collective bargaining for one of our unions. And it began on the 8th. It's not yet concluded, but the talks are still continuing, so that's good. Also, I'm happy to confirm that our new economic development manager will be Martijn van Leeuwen. Martijn's pleased to be starting with in this position on December 1st of this year. He's excited to get working on various projects and to get into the community to introduce himself in his new role. But he is not new to Dauphin. He's been living in Dauphin for 20 years now. So I'm looking forward to having Martijn join our team and lead the Economic Development and Tourism Department. And that concludes my report.
Thank you. Any questions or comments regarding the report for the city manager? And seeing none, I'll call the questions. All in favor? Motion carried. We lost Rodney briefly. I'm sure he'll rejoin right away. Moved by Councillor Eiler, seconded by Councillor Bellemare. Be it resolved that the finance accounts have been examined by council, be hereby authorized and approved as follows. Check totals, numbers 28860 to 28928, 69 checks totaling $510,397.02. No voided checks in the current range, no voided checks in past ranges. Electronic payments for October 2021 totaled $258,004.73. Any questions or comments regarding those numbers? Go ahead, Councillor Bellemare.
I see in the accounts paid that there were several incentives that were paid out, the economic development incentives. And could I ask the city manager just to give a brief outline of what those incentives involve?
Certainly. So I'm just going to click through so I can see the actual list. But from my recollection, when signing the checks, that's for the $1,000 a door incentive that we have. So for every new dwelling created or every uninhabitable dwelling unit that's renovated so that it can have someone living in it, the City of Dauphin's economic development incentive is $1,000 per dwelling unit.
Thank you.
Councillor Eilers, any questions, comments? Okay. Call the questions. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. Moved by Councillor Eilers, seconded by Councillor Bellemare. Be it resolved that council accepts as information the unaudited financial statements before PASAB adjustments for the period ending September 30th, 2021, including number 1, the general fund balance sheet and general fund income statement, and number 2, the utility fund balance sheet and utility fund income statement. Any questions or comments there? Call the questions. All in favor? Motion carried. Moved by Councillor Eilers, seconded by Councillor Bellemare. Be it resolved that council accepts as information the reserve report for September of 2021. Any questions or comments on that one? Seeing none, I'll call the questions. All in favor? Motion carried. Moved by Councillor Bellemare, seconded by Councillor Eilers. Be it resolved that council accepts as information the budget variance analysis for September of 2021. Any questions or comments regarding that one? Call the questions. All in favor? Motion carried. Moved by Councillor Eilers, seconded by Councillor Bellemare. Be it resolved that council accepts as information the following engineering report for the November 15th, 2021 regular council meeting and Director of Public Works and Operations. Any questions or comments regarding that report? Go ahead, Councillor Bellemare.
Yeah, in your report, you had mentioned that there were some issues around 4th Southwest and 1st Southwest, and I was just wondering what kinds of things are happening in that area.
Yeah, so in the past 2 weeks, we've received a few, a phone call and an email, actually both were on the same day, and regarding the pedestrian safety of crossing 4th Avenue Southwest. I keep getting my north and south mixed up. So the intersections, 4th is a very busy street. One of the busier avenues for sure in our community. And one of the issues that I see at this intersection is there's a vertical dip almost to accommodate the crossing of First. So sight lines get a little funny driving it. Mature trees, parking on one side of the street. So what we're looking at is, I agree there's maybe some issues with pedestrian movement through that intersection. So we're looking at signing it to be a pedestrian crosswalk. As well, I plan on doing some traffic counts at that intersection to see what traffic are we looking at through there. Does it warrant something further than just pedestrian notifications, I guess, for the traveling public. So that's what we're looking at there. I also received in looking into this, I was in contact with Whitmore School, and they voiced their concern with not only that intersection, but more so with Main Street and pedestrian crossing on Main Street. So I'm working with the province to determine when the last time traffic counts and pedestrian counts were done at Main and 4th, just in that corridor, even between 7th and 4th, when the last time the province did look at that, and if it's maybe time that we revisit some counts for pedestrians there, so, and for traffic. So I'm working with the province. I have nothing to share at this time with that, but.
Go ahead, Councillor Eilers.
I was just going to say that kind of, they've got two businesses, Cal Tire, and then you have the coffee. Plus, it's the back entrance to the provincial building that a lot of people use to come in. So it is, and then it's a main artery that comes into our community from the highways. Well, a lot of people take it because there's a train and stuff. And I really notice, especially if there's a train across, that a lot of people uses and I'm from working at the provincial building at 4:30, a train crossing here. It just really jams all the traffic, and when it opens up, and it becomes really crucial, especially if there's a lot of around 3:30 when the kids are let out, like 3:15 to 3:30. We've actually got two schools, not only Whitmore, but we've got also Smith Jackson. So it bottlenecks there, and I really agree with having a pedestrian, and there probably should be a study, but it is a very high traffic. One of the things that I guess we can encourage that people come to the lights here by the provincial, but on 2nd, that might help as well. But at the end of the day, I guess everybody's got to make their decision, and considering what the road conditions are. And a lot of times it's really hard to see the little ones, so that adds to the problem.
Yeah, definitely. So we're, like I said, I know the spacing at the intersection for parking has been increased further than what is just standard already. So there is, it helps with the sight lines like that, but I think we do need to put in some signage, and I'm going to work with our Public Works foreman and our team to get some signage reviewed throughout, not only there, but throughout the community as well. So
thank you for your efforts.
I see. We had Deputy Mayor Juba for a second there, and he's bounced off again. My question for you, Mike, I just wanted to mention snow clearing's gone really well, it seems. They were on my street I think Friday night. So I just wanted to ask you just how snow clearing's been going. It's the first one of the year, just to talk a bit about it. Yeah.
It's been going fairly well, considering we got about as much snow as we can expect in a storm. So Mother Nature didn't let us off easy to ease into the winter here. We had crews working Thursday night and Friday night. It's been staff. We have one staff operator off just on some sick leave, and so it's kind of left us one guy short with operations. So we sidewalk clearing started today. We should have the south end completed, south half of town completed today, and the north half completed probably by noon Wednesday. I'm thinking if everything goes to plan, we don't get any more snow. So hopefully the freezing rain doesn't hit tonight, and sanding operations are all for naught that had been happening, but we hope for the best right now. So
great, awesome, thank you. With that being said, I'll call the questions. All in favor of the report? Motion carried. Moved by Councillor Eilers, seconded by Councillor Bellemare. Be it resolved that Council accepts as information the following protective services report for the November 15th, 2021 regular council meeting, that for animal control, October of 2021. Any questions or comments regarding that report? Go ahead, Councillor Bellemare.
Thank you. Yeah, I was reading his report and he was talking about how he had given some warnings about animals, dogs not being on leashes, and that in the future that there would be tickets. I was just wanted to clarify, was he referring to all animals that are not on leashes, or was it sort of like those people that he's already warned would get tickets next time? Because our bylaw does say that dogs should be on leashes in town.
Yes, these were all dogs that he had seen off leash, and he likes to give a verbal warning first and work with people and then give them notice that if it happens again, he'll be ticketing them. So 3 of those verbal warnings were in Vermilion Park. Some of those were no leash, some were no vaccinations, no licenses, and he advised them that they would have direct ticketing the next time around.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? And seeing none, I'll call the questions. All in favor? Motion carried. Moved by Councillor Bellemare, seconded by Councillor Eilers. Be it resolved that council accepts as information the following protective services report for the November 15th, 2021 regular council meeting for bylaw enforcement for October 2021. Any questions or comments regarding that report? Seeing none, I'll call the questions. All in favor? Motion carried. Moved by Councillor Eilers, seconded by Councillor Bellemare. Be it resolved that council accepts as information the following protective services report for the November 15th, 2021 regular council meeting, that of the Municipal Emergency Coordinator. Any questions or comments regarding this report? Seeing none, I'll call the questions. All in favor? Motion carried. Moved by Councillor Eilers, seconded by Councillor Bellemare. Be it resolved that council accepts as information the minutes and reports from the following committee meetings. Number 1, the Dauphin Rec Services Board meeting, the regular board meeting for October 27th, 2021. And number 2, the Fort Dauphin Museum regular board meeting for October 6th. The manager's report for November 3rd. Profit and loss budget actual for October 7th to November 3rd. And the balance sheet previous year comparison as of November 3rd, 2021. Any questions or comments regarding those ones? Go ahead, Councillor Bellemare.
Yes, with regard to the Rec Services Board, this may be a Devon question, but you're on that board too. There is a Scatliff Concept Design. Scatliff and Murray is the landscape company. So what concept are they designing? Is that the toddler park that they're involved in, or is there another project?
Go ahead.
I think it's taking a big look at Meadowlark Park now with our upgraded courts. So taking a look at the addition of a toddler park seating area. We had talked, if you want to go and play pickleball, but you want to change your shoes, need some place to sit down and whatnot. So looking at the park, looking at the trails throughout the park, toddler park, seating, tree placement, making sure that there's open space, making sure that there's tree covered area, things like that.
Councillor Eilers.
And there was a request from a lot of the residents there to have raised garden beds. Is that being incorporated?
Yes, forgive me. I did speak to general manager about that and made sure that was part of it as well.
Okay, I'll call the questions. All in favor? Just to clarify, Rodney, you can hear us. We're good. You're back on.
I am, Mr. Mayor. Yes.
Okay, thanks. Just making sure.
Yeah, thank you.
Moved by Deputy Mayor Juba, seconded by Councillor Bellemare. Whereas a vacancy was created on City of Dauphin Council due to the resignation of Councillor Carrie Reel on October 18th, 2021, and whereas Section 105(1) of the Municipal Act states in part that when a vacancy on council occurs greater than 12 months before a general election, a council must hold a by-election to fill the vacancy on the council. And whereas on September 16th, 2021, Manitoba Municipal Relations issued Bulletin Number 2021-49, Temporary Suspension of Local Electoral Provisions, indicating that Order in Council Number 318-2021 of the Emergency Measures Act provides that for vacancies on council occurring greater than 12 months before a general election, a council can pass a resolution requesting ministerial approval to not hold a by-election due to public health concerns related to the COVID-19 pandemic. And whereas at the regular meeting of October 18th, 2021, council passed resolution number 2021-577 requesting ministerial approval to not hold a by-election due to public health concerns related to the COVID-19 pandemic. Be it resolved that council accepts this information correspondence dated November 12, 2021 from the Minister of Municipal Relations, noting the City of Dauphin's request to forego a municipal by-election to fill the current council vacancy due to public health concerns related to the COVID-19 pandemic meets all the requirements as set out in the order, allowing the temporary suspension of local election provisions and advising that this request is approved. Any questions or comments? I'll call the questions. I'll call for a recorded vote on this as well. Those in favor? Rodney, no video, so if you'll have to speak up, I guess.
I'm in favor.
Okay, thank you. All those opposed? Thank you.
So what was the vote, Mr. Mayor, as I don't have a video?
3-1 in favor.
Okay, thank you.
Moved by Councillor Bellemare, seconded by Deputy Mayor Juba. Whereas the City of Dauphin contracts 911 services from the City of Brandon, and the 911 fee schedule is updated each October for the following year. And be it resolved that council accepts this information 911 services agreement schedule A and correspondence dated October 28, 2021 from Robert Stewart, Director of Emergency Communications for the City of Brandon Public Safety Communications Center, noting a 3% overall increase from last year, which reflects growth in salaries and costs associated with next generation 911 conversion required by the Canadian Radio, Television and Telecommunications Commission prior to the end of 2023. And further, be it resolved that council approves the fees outlined in Schedule A for the provision of 911 services for the 2022 calendar year. Any questions or comments? Go ahead, Councillor Bellemare.
Okay, I understand that the fees are new. There's a bit of an increase. Is there anything else in the agreement that has changed, or is it just fees?
Just yearly fees that I saw.
Any other questions or comments? Seeing none, I'll call the questions. All in favor? Motion carried. Moved by Deputy Mayor Juba, seconded by Councillor Bellemare. Whereas in 2015, the City of Dauphin disputed two items on RCMP October 2015 invoice number 909-65135 as follows: $61,297.60 in relation to a traffic services position, despite the city's request that the detachment commander leave a traffic services position vacant, and $72,923.01 in relation to extra costs incurred due to the timing of member transfers, which resulted in the temporary overlap of two members in one traffic services position. And whereas, as per the Municipal Police Services Agreement, the dispute was reviewed by National Headquarters and Public Safety Canada. Be it resolved that council accepts this information correspondence dated October 22nd, 2021 from Mark Anderson, Inspector, OIC Operations Strategy Branch of RCMP D Division Headquarters, reporting on the outcome of the review of disputed invoice number 909-65135 by National Headquarters and Public Safety Canada as follows. The disputed amount of $61,297.60 is upheld and payable by the City of Dauphin as the traffic services position was a funded position under the terms of the MPSA, and the City of Dauphin did not provide a written request to the Minister for the reduction of a position as required as per MPSA Article Number 5. And the disputed amount of $72,923.01 is overturned in favor of the City of Dauphin, as the overlap of two members in one traffic services position represented an excess cost that would have required municipal approval. Further be it resolved that Council accepts as information a memorandum dated November 12, 2021 from the City Manager noting the credit for the amount of $72,923.01 and recommending that the remaining outstanding amount of $61,297.60 be paid. And further be it resolved that Council agrees with the City Manager's recommendation to pay $61,297.60 towards RCMP invoice 909-65135. Any questions or comments? Councillor Bellemare.
Oh, no, I was voting already. I was just trying to get this over
Okay.
after 6 years.
Yeah. I'll call the questions then. All in favor?
I'm in favor.
You betcha. Motion carried. Moved by Councillor Eiler, seconded by Deputy Mayor Juba. Be it resolved that bylaw 07/2021 being a bylaw of the City of Dauphin to amend zoning bylaw 04/2015, part of 100 Cruz Crescent, RMF to CM, be now read a second time. All in favor?
I'm in favor.
Motion carried. Moved by Councillor Eiler, seconded by Councillor Bellemare. Be it resolved that bylaw 07/2021 being a bylaw of the City of Dauphin to amend zoning bylaw 04/2015, part of 100 Cruz Crescent, RMF to CM, be now read a third time and be signed and sealed by the Mayor and City Manager. And this one's got to be recorded, I believe. So all in favor?
I'm in favor.
So unanimous. Moved by Councillor Bellemare, seconded by Councillor Eilers. Be it resolved that bylaw 08/2021 being a bylaw of the City of Dauphin to prescribe fees, fines, and charges for municipal services be now read a second time. Any questions or comments on this one? I'll call the questions. All in favor?
I'm in favor.
Motion carried. Moved by Deputy Mayor Juba, seconded by Councillor Eilers. Be it resolved that bylaw 08/2021 being a bylaw of the City of Dauphin to prescribe fees, fines, and charges for municipal services be now read a third time and be signed and sealed by the Mayor and the City Manager. All in favor?
I'm in favor.
Unanimous. Moved by Councillor Eilers, seconded by Councillor Bellemare. Be it resolved that bylaw 09/2021 being a bylaw of the City of Dauphin to establish and regulate a code of conduct for members of council be now read a second time. Any questions or comments on this one before we go? Call the questions. All in favor?
Yes.
Motion carried. Moved by Councillor Eilers, seconded by Deputy Mayor Juba. Be it resolved that bylaw 09/2021 being a bylaw of the City of Dauphin to establish and regulate a code of conduct for members of council be now read a third time and be signed and sealed by the Mayor and the City Manager. All in favor?
I'm in favor. Yes.
Unanimous. Moved by Deputy Mayor Juba, seconded by Councillor Bellemare. Be it resolved that bylaw 10/2021 being a bylaw of the City of Dauphin to amend accommodation tax bylaw 07/2020 for the purpose of imposing a tax on accommodation to support tourism, economic development, recreation, and active living, which repeals the effective date of January 1st, 2021, and replaces it with the new effective date of January 1st, 2022, be now read a second time. Any questions or comments on this one? Call the questions. All in favor? Motion carried. Moved by Councillor Bellemare, seconded by Deputy Mayor Juba. Be it resolved that bylaw 10/2021 being a bylaw of the City of Dauphin to amend accommodation tax bylaw 07/2020 for the purpose of imposing a tax on accommodation to support tourism, economic development, recreation, and active living, which repeals the effective date of January 1st, 2021, and replaces it with the new effective date of January 1st, 2022, be now read a third time and be signed and sealed by the mayor and city manager. All in favor?
Yes.
Unanimous again. All right, moving on to councillor privileges. I'll start to my left this time with Councillor Eilers.
Thank you. On November 1st, I attended the employee relations meeting and followed by the city council meeting. On November 4th, I attended the Ag Society AGM. And as mentioned before, on November 8th, 9th, and 10th, QP collective bargaining. And on November 11th, a Remembrance Day service. We should be thankful for all the liberties that we enjoy. And I also want to thank the city crew for clearing the heavy snowfall we received this week. I guess we just have to do better with snow clearing of the sidewalks. And as a reminder, we do have to adapt to winter driving conditions, so please slow down and drive with extra caution. I would really encourage that by the schools start to see the little ones and they struggle to go over the drifts. And unfortunately, there's a forecast for freezing rain, so it's supposed to be later this evening, so I guess we should have, again, be very cautious. I also want to offer condolences to Barry Nekanashny's family on his passing. He worked for a number of years with the Department of Highways, and he was very active in many community events. Condolences to the passing of Ken Ivey. Just for those who aren't aware, he was the coordinator of Manitoba Communities in Bloom for years, I believe 15. I had the pleasure of working with him on the Manitoba Communities in Bloom board for 12 years. And just wanted everyone to know that many of the Manitoba Communities in Bloom committees will remember that Ken and his passion for working to improve our communities across Manitoba. He will be missed, and that ends my report.
Thank you very much. Councillor Bellemare.
Thank you. I attended various meetings since the last council meeting on November 1st, employee relations plus collective bargaining for one of the unions. Those were meetings over 3 days. And as part of our new committee appointments, I'm delighted to be joining the local and regional library boards, and the first meeting is this evening. Community events. I attended the Train Museum celebration of 125 years since the first train arrived in Dauphin. President Jason Gilroy and his board arranged a classy event complete with engraved scissors, railway wheel benches, and period clothing for one of the board members. The next step of their celebration is in early December, so stay tuned for more information. I attended the Remembrance Day ceremony on November the 11th. And also I took part in a online virtual course from Prairie Climate Center called Climate Change 101. So it was providing the scientific information about climate change. So what is happening, what the future may look like, lots of good information. And I was watching the Glasgow conference closely, both to see what initiatives would be agreed upon, but also because we have a local farmer, Anna Fick, from the Ethelbert area. She was participating in that conference, so that just made it, or encouraged me to pay even closer attention. Also, you may remember the beautiful display of lighted trees in CN Park during last year's Christmas season. There were also signs by each of those trees indicating who purchased the tree and in whose honor. So Dauphin Rotary is again offering you the opportunity to create this winter beauty again, plus remember people in your life. So contact Luke at Pathways Funeral Service to become part of this new community tradition. And thank you to both citizens and staff who have been plowing snow recently to help their neighbors and to help people move around safely around our city. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Councillor Bellemare. Deputy Mayor Juba.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Not much of a report for me this last couple of weeks. November the 1st, I attended regular city council on none of my committees have met the last couple of weeks, but this week I have 3 committee meetings upcoming for community events. I was unable to attend the ribbon cutting to mark the 125th anniversary of the first railway tracks being laid across Main Street in Dauphin after the ribbon cutting benches were unveiled. And I just want to echo Councillor Bellemare's remarks. I want to congratulate Jason Gilmore and the board of the Railway Museum. They've done a fantastic job lifting the profile of the railway station, or the Railway Museum rather, and they deserve kudos for that. And as other upcoming events come along, I just urge the community to support those, the Rail Museum. And on November the 11th, I was unable to attend the Remembrance Day commemoration service at Credit Union Place, although I want to thank you to Ava and Kara Pazook for placing a memorial wreath on behalf of Habitat for Humanity. And as regards to Habitat for Humanity, a lot of things are happening really rapidly behind the scenes, and please advising the community that an announcement is coming out shortly. So, Mr. Mayor, that's my short report for this week.
Thank you. For myself, November the 1st, employee relations meeting, and then I had the regular council meeting that evening here at City Hall. On the 3rd, we had, I'm going to say it was our last active transportation meeting of the year. I don't think we're going to meet again until early springtime. So that was another good meeting there for active transportation. On November the 8th, I too attended the ribbon cutting at the Dauphin Rail Museum as part of their 125th anniversary celebrations. Again, I echo Councillor Bellemare and Deputy Mayor Juba. Jason Gilmore did a great job with everything there. And congratulations again to the Rail Museum on that successful event. On November 8th, 9th, and 10th, collective bargaining meetings there. On the 11th, I attended the Remembrance Day ceremony at Credit Union Place. Well done there, the Dauphin Legion, as always, and quite a good crowd considering the weather. So nice to have that going again, considering we couldn't last year. Just a few congratulations I want to throw out there, just because I worked with all these guys. Bruce Lepere, I want to congratulate him on his induction into the MCMA, Manitoba Country Music Association's Hall of Fame. That was a couple weeks ago. Alex DeVries, the on-air personality of the year for the Manitoba Country Music Association. He's been talking about it all week. I think there's a parade down Main Street this weekend. So again, congratulations, Alex. Great stuff. And he's our lone attendant here tonight. I just want to say welcome back to Cade Malone as he returns to CKDM. It's great to have you back in our community. You're one of those characters that just kind of makes the community in a good way. And just quickly before I end my report, I mentioned it earlier, very excited for the Association of Manitoba Municipalities Convention that's coming up Monday and Tuesday next week. And with that all being said, I'm going to move by Councillor Eilers, seconded by Councillor Bellemare. Be it resolved that this council meeting be recessed at 6:07.